The 1980s weren't just a golden era for horror. They were a glorious, blood-soaked, neon-lit explosion of creativity, chaos, and pure nightmare fuel. This was the decade when horror got bold. When makeup effects artists became rock stars, final girls became legends, and villains like Freddy and Jason turned into pop culture icons. Some of the best horror of all time came from this era. And whether it was low-budget insanity or studio-backed masterpieces, the 80s shaped horror as we know it today. So grab your VHS tape, turn down the lights, and let's count down the top 10 horror movies of the 1980s, from the cult classics to the genre-defining giants. Number 10. Reanimator.
I had to kill him!
What? He's dead?
Not anymore.
We're kicking things off with one of the most insane horror films of the decade, Reanimator. This one doesn't ease you in. It slaps you in the face with dismembered body parts, green glowing syringes, and a completely unhinged performance from Jeffrey Combs as the obsessive Herbert West. Based loosely on an H.P. Lovecraft story, Reanimator is about a med student who discovers a way to bring the dead back to life. But nothing about this resurrection is clean or peaceful. The dead come back furious, mangled, and mean. It's gory, absurd, often hilarious, and genuinely disturbing. The effects are top-tier grotesque, and it has a chaotic energy that makes it endlessly watchable. If you're into over-the-top horror with brains splattered on the ceiling, this one's a must-watch.
You see, I came down here to visit Mr. Kane, who was here working, and Halsey entered and started ranting at us.
Number 9. Day of the Dead.
No, that doesn't happen.
Romero went darker than ever with Day of the Dead. Society has collapsed, the zombies have taken over, and what's left of humanity is crammed into an underground military bunker, tearing itself apart from the inside. There's tension, mistrust, rage, and a level of nihilism that's just brutal. This is Romero firing on all philosophical cylinders. It's about the end of the world, not just because of the zombies, but because of how people treat each other when things go to hell. The special effects by Tom Savini are still jaw-dropping, and Bub the Zombie actually gives one of the most sympathetic performances in the film. It's messy, it's raw, and it hits harder now than ever. Number 8. The Fly. David Cronenberg took what could have been a cheesy sci-fi remake and turned it into one of the most heartbreaking and grotesque horror films of the decade. The Fly stars Jeff Goldblum as Seth Brundle, a brilliant scientist whose teleportation experiment fuses his DNA with a housefly. The transformation is slow, agonizing, and revolting. Brundle doesn't just mutate. He deteriorates, mentally and physically, while still trying to hold on to his humanity. It's body horror at its peak. The makeup and effects are phenomenal, but it's the emotional weight, the love story with Geena Davis, that makes it hit so hard. The Fly isn't just about turning into a monster. It's about watching someone you care about fall apart and being powerless to stop it. Number 7. Friday the 13th.
Oh, my Lord. So young. So pretty. Oh, what monster could have done this?
This is the one that launched 1,000 imitators and birthed one of the most iconic horror franchises ever. Friday the 13th might seem simple now. A bunch of teens go to Camp Crystal Lake and get murdered one by one, but at the time, it was groundbreaking and bloody. Pamela Voorhees, not Jason, is the original killer here, driven by grief and madness after her son's drowning. But the atmosphere, the pacing, and those inventive kills laid the groundwork for slasher horror in the 80s. Add in Tom Savini's practical effects and that unforgettable sound design, and you've got the birth of a horror juggernaut.
It's gonna storm. You can tear down that valley like a son of a gun.
Number 6. Poltergeist. This one hit differently. Poltergeist took the haunted house genre and made it mainstream without sacrificing the fear. It starts innocent enough, suburban family, weird things happening around the house, but it gets dark fast. A child is literally sucked into another dimension through the television, and it just keeps escalating from there. Possessed toys, supernatural storms, skeletons popping out of pools, and that chilling line from Little Carol Ann.
They're here.
The film is emotionally grounded, visually impressive, and filled with unforgettable scares. It made people afraid of their own homes, and that's the power of great horror. Number 5, Hellraiser. Hellraiser is an experience. Clive Barker introduced a world of demons, desire, and flesh-ripping agony, and we'd never seen anything like it before. It's not your typical horror flick. It's twisted, it's sexual, it's philosophical. It's Hellraiser. The story revolves around a puzzle box that opens a gateway to the Cenobites, terrifying beings from another dimension who explore extremes of pain and pleasure, and leading them is Pinhead, who immediately became a horror icon. This film gets under your skin, not just with hooks and chains, but with ideas. It's about obsession, addiction, and the horrors of desire. Visually striking and psychologically scarring, Hellraiser is unforgettable. Number 4, Evil Dead 2. Pure chaos. That's the best way to describe Evil Dead 2. Part sequel, part remake, all blood-soaked madness. Sam Raimi takes the haunted cabin in the woods concept and cranks it to 11. Possessed limbs, flying eyeballs, and gallons of gore splashing across every frame. Bruce Campbell cements himself as a horror legend here. Ash becomes the ultimate final guy, wielding a chainsaw for a hand, covered in blood, cracking one-liners in the face of absolute evil. It's horror, it's comedy, it's slapstick insanity. No one else was doing it like this, and no one's really done it like this since. Number 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, then up your door.
Wes Craven gave us a villain that changed the game, Freddy Krueger. He didn't just stalk teens through the woods, he got you where you're most vulnerable, in your dreams. And once he had you there, the rules of reality no longer applied. The kills in Elm Street are surreal and nightmarish. That scene where a young Johnny Depp gets pulled into his bed and a geyser of blood erupts? Horror history. Freddy became an icon, but in the first film, he's genuinely terrifying. A burnt-faced specter of vengeance with knives for fingers and a sick sense of humor. It's inventive, scary, and introduced a concept that let horror do something new, bend the rules of time, space, and logic.
Who are you?
Number 2, The Thing.
Clear!
Clear.
What's scarier than a monster you can't see? A monster that could be anyone. John Carpenter's The Thing is the ultimate paranoia-fueled horror film. Set in a frozen research station in Antarctica, the crew uncovers an alien life form that can perfectly mimic any living creature. Every scene drips with tension. You don't know who's infected, you don't know who to trust, and when the creature reveals itself, it's absolutely horrifying. The effects are still some of the best ever put on film. Disgusting, creative, and deeply unsettling, but it's the mood that really hits. Cold, isolated, and hopeless. The Thing is a masterclass in suspense. Number 1, The Shining. What else could it be? The Shining is a horror masterpiece. Stanley Kubrick took Stephen King's story of a haunted hotel and crafted something hypnotic, surreal, and terrifying. Jack Nicholson's descent into madness as Jack Torrance is magnetic. Shelley Duvall's performance is raw and heartbreaking. And the Overlook Hotel itself? It's alive. It's watching. It's waiting. Every shot is deliberate. Every sound echoes. From the blood-flooded elevators to the twins in the hallway, The Shining is burned into pop culture. It's slow. It's quiet. And then it's not. It doesn't rely on cheap tricks. It's horror that seeps into your bones. Ambiguous, unforgettable, and endlessly rewatchable.
Here's Johnny!
And there you have it, the 10 best horror films of the 1980s. A decade of killer creativity, unforgettable monsters, and genre-defining moments that still haunt us today. Whether you're into slashers, ghosts, body horror, or existential dread, the 80s had a little something for every twisted taste. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit that like button, drop your favorite 80s horror pick in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more horror deep dives, rankings, and retrospectives. Thanks for watching, and remember, whatever you do, don't fall asleep.